You can make $100,000 a year from your gym. In fact, I really want you to, because that is what is going to keep your gym open and successful long term. You can also do it while working only about 4 hours a day. And right now, I'm going to tell you how to do it. Today, we're going to talk about the exact systems that you need to build and put in place in your gym to make $100,000 a year in income while you're working about 20 hours a week. That's a sustainable career for you as a CEO. We're also going to talk about how you can start building these systems today, regardless of whether your business is making a lot of money, making a little money, just breaking even, or even losing money. That means this training is for any gym owner. It's going to be especially useful to you if you're working too much, if you want to pay yourself a little bit more than you currently are, if you're not really sure how to grow your gym or how to scale to the level that you want to create the impact in your community, if you're afraid that your gym will fall apart if you step away for an hour, let alone a week or a month, if you're struggling to get members or keep them, we're going to talk about that. And if you want a simple system that you can follow to make progress forever, I'm even going to give you that. Before we get there, I've got to preface this by saying this is going to take you more than 4 hours a day to start. But until you put these systems in place, you will always be working 16-hour days, grinding and not really getting anywhere. $100,000 a year in income in 20 hours a week, that is totally realistic. But setting this up is going to take you more than 4 hours a day of work. It's going to require you to work maybe a little bit more than you currently are. But long term, we're setting you up to work less and earn more. And this also requires some effort. It's not enough just to watch this and learn it and know it. You have to actually do the work to implement it if you want to be successful. But you will be successful. Success is predictable. We know this works when you do the work, and we're giving you a proven system here. How do I know this is possible? When I started in the fitness industry right out of college 30 years ago, it wasn't. There was nobody making $100,000 a year from gym ownership. And, maybe if there was one random person out there, they weren't teaching it to anybody else. In 2008, I owned a gym. In fact, I owned two at that point, and I was absolutely broke. I was very close to going bankrupt. I was working a 16-hour day and still losing money. I had missed 2 paychecks in a row, and I finally reached this point where I said, somebody else has got to have figured this out. Like, how can I find a person and just copy what they do? Well, it turns out that there really wasn't anybody out there who had done it, but I did find a local mentor who was a great CEO, and he mentored me to fix my business. And slowly, as we turned that around, I started blogging my journey and sharing that with other gym owners, because I want to help you stay in business long enough to actually change lives instead of making all the same mistakes that I did and getting out of the business in 5 years because you're burned out, broke, and just kind of done with it. When I found that mentor back in late 2008, I started blogging every single day for myself, but also for you, the other gym owners out there. Here are the mistakes that I've made. Here's how I'm fixing them. And then here's how it turned out. And I've been doing that every day for almost 20 years. I've dedicated 2 decades now to helping other gym owners be successful, because if we're all successful, that means our gyms can stick around for 30 years. And it means that we're going to help thousands of people in our local communities. And maybe we turn the tide on the problems in health that are out there right now. I started a mentorship practice called Two Brain Business in 2016 because eventually I realized that knowledge wasn't enough. Just like you coach your clients on fitness, because it's not enough just to give them a workout or a workout plan or show them a YouTube video to get them results. It's also not enough for me to just say, here's the information that you need to be successful in business. There are already thousands of business books out there. I've written 8 for gym owners, but the reality is we all need coaching if we want to get where we're going fast. The problem in the gym industry is not that we always are underfunded, but that we run out of time. The reason that people quit the industry isn't because they've run out of passion. It's always because they've run out of money before they could get things turned around or fixed. And so at Two Brain Business, our mission is to help gym owners live their perfect day, which is achieving financial success while building a business they love so that they can keep it as long as they want to. After a decade of doing this, we have 987 gym owners in our mentorship practice today. Each one of them is working one-on-one with a mentor, a gym owner who has done what they want to do, a gym owner who has reached their perfect day, who's making the income that they want to make and working as hard as they want to, and now they're turned around to mentor other gym owners just like I do. In 2024 alone, we helped 246 gym owners get to the ideal income and the perfect day that they wanted to work. And that lights me up because it tells me that these people can keep running their gym forever. We've also created 55 millionaires in our program in the past because not only does the stuff that we're going to help you implement work now, but it's not just a one-hit wonder. It's not just going to stop working. There's no ceiling to it. You can keep growing. And if you keep doing these things really well and you keep doing them faster and faster, there's really no limit to how far you can go. When I started, I said that nobody was making $100,000 a year in the fitness industry, and there were certainly no millionaires. But now we're creating them. The average time it takes you to get to 100K in net owner benefit in our program is 2 years, 1 month, and 9 days. And the reason that average is longer, or it might be shorter for some people do it in under a year, is because of how fast they take action. The program works. And if you take action really, really quickly, it will work faster. If you take action more slowly, that's okay, but results will take a little bit longer to get to you too. That means that we've got a proven system that will work as long as you do the work. And you go faster if you work closely with your mentor, stay focused, and get the work done. So here's what we're going to do today. First, I'm going to teach you the 6 ways that any gym owner can start making more money really quickly. Second, I'm going to help you decide which one of these 6 areas that you need to focus on. Here's the reality. There's more than enough information out there. I mean, I publish stuff every single day to help you. The reason that you're not making more money or growing your gym as fast as you want to is probably not lack of knowledge. It's probably overwhelm. And so I want to teach you not just what to do, but also how to decide which thing to start with and how to get going today. Then I'm even going to take it a step further and tell you the exact steps that you can take right now. As soon as you stop watching this video, you can get going and start working. We're all about being directive and actionable. And so I'm not here to just paint a picture, give you more information. That's just going to slow you down. What I'm here to do is tell you exactly where to start and give you something actionable that you can do right now. Okay, you ready? Let's get started. How does a gym owner go from overworked and underpaid to making 6 figures in 4 hours a day? There's 3 stages that we're going to walk our way through. The first stage is to increase revenue. So I said some of these gym owners, when they started, were doing $10,000 a month in revenue. That's the money that's coming into your gym. Some of these gym owners, when they started, were doing $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000. If that's you, wonderful. But most people watching this will be doing around $10,000 to $20,000 in revenue a month. So first, we're going to increase that revenue. Second, we're going to build simple, repeatable systems so that your gym runs on systems instead of running out of your head every single day. Okay. And the third stage is to live your perfect day. And so we're going to design that and kind of create a lifestyle business. So in this training, we're going to go deep into the details of each stage. Stage 1, focus on increasing revenue. Stage 2, we will build systems that let our business run without us. In stage 3, we'll refine those systems and build our perfect day. Now, first, increase revenue. This one is obvious to most of us. You need enough revenue to pay yourself while employing a stable and happy staff. We all want to do that, don't we? And the 2 main levers you can pull here are ARM, average revenue per member, and second, your headcount, how many clients you actually have. This is where most gym owners need the biggest shift in thinking because ARM is often a better lever to pull than improving headcount. So we're going to generate more revenue. We're going to do this by tackling 3 big sales and marketing problems, which is your pricing, massive mistake in a lot of the gyms that we see, lead nurture, another huge kind of a blind spot more than a mistake for gyms. They don't understand how a lead becomes a client. And selling scared. We're going to be talking about that too, because boy, I have been there. All right. So stage 1, and this is what we cover in the stage 1 of our mentorship program, is we want to put immediate focus on ARM and headcount to increase revenue. We want to increase the average revenue per member that you're making, but also increase how many members you're actually getting. Okay. So there's 2 steps here. Number 1 is increase ARM. And we want to rapidly increase this because I want you to be making more money to pay for the mentorship program right away and then making more money to pay yourself too, because mentorship is an investment. It's not an expense. And so you should be making a good return on that investment. The first thing we're going to do is increase ARM. And we're going to do that by adding an on-ramp or a foundations program. You can call it a kickstart if you want to. Then we're going to teach you how to master the prescriptive selling model so you can coach people into signing up for your service instead of feeling like a slimy salesperson. And third, we're going to professionalize sales while we're making sales easier for you. So we're going to be using a sales binder, setting up the right sales environment, and helping you work on your lead nurture process. Then once we've got that sticky net and we know that we're converting the leads that we get, then we're going to start working on getting more leads. And we're going to do that through a referral process. So you're working with the friends and family of your best clients. We're going to do that through organic content so that you're talking to people who are warm and familiar with your brand and they know, like, and trust you. And then we're going to use paid ads to really pour gasoline on that fire. So the first step is to increase average revenue per member. Most gyms miss this opportunity, but it's their biggest opportunity to improve revenue dramatically by doing more with their existing members. So for example, if you have 150 members, which is slightly more than the average micro gym, but if you've got 150 members and they're all paying $120 a month, your monthly revenue is $18,000. If you've got the same 150 members and they're paying $150 a month, your monthly revenue is $22,500. That's $4,500 more per month. And what's really interesting is that this revenue doesn't come with expenses attached. It doesn't mean that you have to hire more coaches or take more space or get a bigger loan to buy more equipment the way you would have to if you just increased member headcount. Increasing ARM is a massive change. And if you have a $30 increase in ARM, average revenue per member, that leads to over $50,000 in additional revenue per year. And the easiest way to start increasing ARM is to sell an on-ramp program. So here's how we teach you how to do this in the Two Brain Mentorship program. Start by adding an on-ramp just for your new members coming in. This is the best way to onboard people, introduce them to your community, your vibe, your culture, set them up for success, and teach them the things that they need to know to be successful in your group program later. So a client comes in, they book a no sweat intro. In that no sweat intro, you make them a prescription. I'm going to walk you through that no sweat intro process in a moment. But first, here's what happens. In that no sweat intro, you say, I want to set you up for success. The fastest path to get you into our regular program is called on-ramp. And that'll bring you up to speed quickly so that you're familiar with our movements, you're good at them. And when you get into a class setting, you'll know what to do and you'll never feel behind or dumb. And you never have to feel like you got to ask a question. So we're going to start with 6 personal training sessions at whatever your personal training session rate is. Now, it doesn't have to be 6. It could be 4 or 5 or 6 or 10. We're going to help you build an on-ramp program that fits your gym. We're going to custom tailor this to you. And then after they're done your on-ramp, they're qualified, they're moving well, they're happy, they're familiar, they're comfortable in your gym, they're a good fit for your culture. And then you can have a conversation about a recurring membership or just continuing one-on-one. On-ramp is usually 4 to 6 personal training sessions between $75 and $100 per hour. That total cost is going to be between $300 and $600. That immediately creates a $25 to $50 increase in ARM over the course of a year for all new clients. You're going to base this off your personal training rate. Remember, your value is in coaching. It's not in giving discounts or taking percentages off to reward different people. The aim is creating offerings that clients see as worth every penny. It's value, not price, that's important here. The next thing that you need to do is sell your on-ramp. And most gym owners struggle to sell higher ticket offers like an on-ramp because it's not something that they would do themselves. We project ourselves onto our best clients instead of thinking about, like, what does this client actually need to be successful in our gym? Well, what they need to be successful in your gym is to be familiar with the movements so that the coach isn't taking time away from your best clients to help the new clients all the time. And the new clients need to be comfortable doing them so they don't feel nervous or shy or dumb about putting up their hand in class or, even worse, getting injured or something. They need to feel like, I can do this. They need to have a sense of what their starting weight should be so that they know how to scale the workouts when they get to a group class. And the way that you need to feel comfortable about presenting this is through a no sweat intro and the prescriptive model. So you don't feel slimy or you're trying to trick somebody into buying something that you wouldn't buy yourself. A no sweat intro is what we call our sales meeting. And so what we're going to do is we're going to welcome people to our gym. We're going to sit down with them. We're not just going to give them a free trial because they don't have any context on what that free trial should be. And they don't know enough to say, oh, after having done this free trial, I really feel like I'm going to get to my goals. They are trusting you, a knowledgeable expert coach, to tell them what they should do instead of just selling them the most common thing in your gym or selling them the only option that you have. That's commoditization, and that's not going to work. You need to be the trusted expert. So you're going to sit down with them, you're going to welcome them, you're going to build some rapport, you're going to have a conversation. Then, because you are a knowledgeable expert, you need to figure out what their point B is going to be. What is their goal? And so you want to ask them questions to determine what problem they're facing in their life. Then you're going to recap their needs and the obstacles that they're going to need to overcome. You're going to present them with a prescription based on what you told me. Here's what I think is best for you. You're going to use a pricing binder so that you're not tempted to negotiate and they don't think that you're just pulling a price out of thin air. And then you're going to say, how does that sound? And you're going to move them to your on-ramp process. The prescriptive model is like what you would get from a doctor if you went to their office. You listen first. What are your symptoms, or what are your goals? What are you trying to overcome here? What are the obstacles to you achieving that goal? And you listen because you're a caring professional. Then, because you're a knowledgeable expert, you prescribe a plan. Here is how we solve your problems. And you position your offer as a solution to their problem. Now, of course, in the Two Brain Mentorship Program, we go through this step by step. Not only do we tell you what to say or give you a script, we role play it with you so that you're comfortable and so that you see that you're really coaching the client. The first coaching that you'll ever give a client is coaching them what they should be buying from a fitness professional, hopefully you. Even if they say no to you, they will leave this meeting, the no sweat intro, with knowledge that they can use to evaluate any other coach for the rest of their lives. They know what they should do, and you're telling them that. And then you're saying, here it is. I've got this all laid out for you. So the prescriptive model goes like this. They come in for a no sweat intro. You ask them questions about what they want, what the obstacles are in their life, maybe what they've tried in the past. You build some rapport. You might take an objective measurement, like you might put them on the scale, the InBody. You might measure their body fat. You might measure their range of motion. Whatever they say they want to improve, you're going to measure that objectively. That's why there's a little picture of a tape measure here. Isn't that cool? Then you're going to make a prescription based on my 30 years of coaching experience and all my certifications and all my education and all the reading that I've done. Based on all of that expertise, I recommend you start with X. That might be personal training. It might be group training. It might be habit coaching. It might be nutrition. It might be semi-private. It might be something else. You might start them with a walking plan. I've done that before. You're establishing yourself as an expert by telling them what they should do. Then, after that initial prescription, you're going to coach them for 90 days and then meet up for a goal review. A goal review is a lot like a no sweat intro because you're going to be measuring their progress. But now you're going to be making them a new and upgraded prescription. Hey, based on your progress, here are the next steps that I see. And also, are you happy with your progress? And that question can lead in a variety of ways. If they're not happy with their progress, you change the program instead of having them change gyms because you're in front of that conversation. If they are happy, but I'd love to speed it up, you tell them how to speed it up. If they're absolutely thrilled and they want to shout from the mountaintops how much they love you, give them an opportunity to do that. And that is the value of a goal review. When you leave a client to their own devices, they come in, you sign them up for your group training program, they have to decide whether it's working or not. And that's all in their head. So if they think it's not working, it's too hard, it doesn't fit my schedule, it's expensive, whatever, they just leave. There's no conversation. A real coach has a conversation with a client about their progress. They take objective measurements over and over. They update the program. They make recommended changes and they brag about them. They ask for referrals. That's what the prescriptive model is. It's just a process for you to follow to help you be a professional coach to your clients. Now, the way that you present your pricing should be done professionally. This is a pricing binder. We help you build these in our mentorship program because confusing pricing kills sales. Our visually appealing, really easy to understand pricing structures help clients quickly decide which membership suits their needs the best. Each package clearly outlines the benefits of the package, the pricing, and the value, simplifying client decisions and significantly boosting signups. We will give you a template for this in the Two Brain Mentorship Program. Your mentor will work with you on the prices. You'll set the prices, you'll print this off, and there's no more trying to figure it out, jumping around, trying to give discounts in your head. I've done that. If you've got this pricing binder in front of you, number one, it's way easier for the client to buy. So it doesn't feel like you're pushing them at all. Number two, it stops all that internal talk in your head about, oh, maybe they can't afford it. And number three, it stops the temptation for you to find a reason to give them a 20% discount. Trust me, I've been there. The next thing that you want to do, and we guide you through this in our mentorship program, is to set up a clean place in your gym where the client can feel comfortable. It needs to be private. You need to have this clean, private area where you do your no sweat intros. You need to cover the walls with testimonials and pictures and social proof. And by making these small changes, you'll be able to sell higher ticket packages and increase your ARM. The next step is getting more leads. Okay. So now that we've got leads coming into the gym, we know what to do with them to coach them to start their journey to fitness. The next step is let's get some more leads in the door. All right. So first, we're going to do this without ads. Your best clients know your next clients. The easiest way to get a new client is to ask your current best clients, but most people struggle to do that in a natural way. It feels awkward. It feels like you're asking somebody for their sister's phone number because you're going to call them and ask for a date, right? It feels weird. As awkward as I just made that sound, it's 10 times more when you're asking somebody, who do you know that should join my gym? So I'm going to show you the referral system that we teach our clients to ask for referrals without feeling sleazy and without, feeling awkward about it. So the first thing we're going to do here is determine who our best clients are, who the people are who are most likely to refer, who the people are in our gym that we want to duplicate over and over and over, who the people are that we can say like, hey, we just want more people like you. Okay, so let's walk through that. A lot of entrepreneurs assume that we are our own best clients, but that's not always true. And so every 6 months or so, you want to determine who your best clients are by doing this seed client exercise. So the first step is you want to list the clients, maybe your top 5, top 6, who make you the happiest when they show up to your gym. These are the people who show up with batteries included, who breathe life into you, who actually give you energy. It's not the clients who are just nice to be around. These are the clients who actually fire you up. So I want you to think about the clients in that category and list them. So the first client maybe I would think of is, Joe S, Mary J. I might think about Sally M, and I might think about Bill T. Anybody else? I mean, I'm good with a lot of my clients at Catalyst, but these are the ones that really feed me with energy. When I see them come through the door, I'm like, okay, good. They're going to take a lot of the weight for me. They're going to fire up the rest of the group. So once I've got those, the next thing that I want to do is look at my client list and say, who pays me the most every month? So, who takes advantage of all my services? Who buys the extra t-shirt? Who signs up for the specialty programs? Who is the highest value client that I have? And I'm going to make a list of those. And it's probably going to be like top 10, top 12. So I might say Sarah M. I might say Steve M. Okay, Sarah's husband maybe or whatever. Mary J. Okay, I might say something like Nevea C. I might say Felipe M. And I might say Sally M. And here's what I'm going to notice next. The next thing I want you to do is select the people who appear on both lists. Okay, you're going to highlight these people. So if I'm going down both lists, what I would find is, okay, I've got Sally. She appears on both. Here we go. Right. And I've got Mary here. She appears on both. Okay. So Sally and Mary are both my highest paying clients and the ones that fire me up with energy. I want more clients like Sally and Mary. And so what I want to do is focus my marketing, focus my messaging, my media, everything around Sally and Mary and people just like them. Well, how do we do that? That's the next step. Once you've found these seed clients, you're going to invite them one-on-one for coffee. And they might wonder why you're taking them for coffee if you've never done it before. I can remember the last time I did this, the people sat down, they're like, oh boy, we thought you had bad news, or we thought you were going to raise our semi-private rate or whatever. I was just taking them for coffee. And I had this blank sheet of paper right here in front of me. And their names are also Chris and Tammy, by the way. And we sat down, we had coffee, and I asked them these questions. And I wasn't like, obviously writing down their answers or anything. It's informal. It's a relaxed conversation with each of your seed clients. Okay. And you can ask them these 3 key questions. So the first thing is, what do you like best about my gym? Now, you want to make note of the language that they use. If they say the word community, that's important because you're going to use community when you're talking to their referrals later. You want to repeat their language. Okay. If they say it feels comfortable, you're going to use that word comfortable in your marketing later. These guys said, like, it's the only place all day where somebody tells me I did a great job. Well, that blew my mind. I never saw that coming. I wrote that down. We started using it in our advertising. Okay. Use the language that they give you directly in your marketing materials, your ads, your social media, wherever it fits. But this will also tell you what you should be marketing about your gym, because, these two are entrepreneurs and they said, well, it's very time efficient. I show up. I don't have to think about it. I know what time to be there. I don't have to think about what to do or what I'm going to motivate myself to do today. The coach tells me exactly what to do. I do that. At the end of the hour, I am done. I know that I've made progress. I get in the shower and I go back to work. It is the most efficient hour of my day. It's focused. I wish my whole day was like that. Well, that was amazing feedback. And so I can use that in my marketing. Now, the next question that I'm going to ask is, like, if you could improve one thing about my gym, what would it be? These are seed clients. They're not complainers. They're not canaries. They're going to say, oh, that coach sucks. I hate your programming. You're never going to hear that from these people. They're going to say something valuable. Like, Chris, sometimes I come in, I wish there was a hairdryer in the bathroom, right? I've heard that before. Hey, Chris, sometimes when I come in the morning, the place is kind of cold, whatever, right? Like, you're going to take their feedback. You don't want to do surveys and take feedback from everybody, but there are certainly times when you're going to want to take feedback from these best people. And then you're going to ask them, if you're going to recommend Catalyst to a friend, how would you approach that with the friend? Okay. And you might even be able to coach them a little bit on this. Like, well, what if you said that? The next thing you're going to do is overtly ask for referral. So you're sitting there, you've got your coffee, you're having this relaxed conversation. You're going to say, Chris, Tammy, you're exactly the kind of person we love having at the gym. If you know somebody else who would enjoy what we do, I'd really appreciate an introduction. Can you think of anyone right now? And then what you're going to do is be directive, right? Take over, coach them to actually refer that person. So, hey, do you happen to have that person's text? Would you mind introducing us on text right now? Do you have their email? Would you mind introducing us on email right now? And I can take it from there. Thank them for the valuable feedback. Share how you plan to use their input to improve the gym, and then, use this script above. Okay. Now, I want you to get some more sales appointments. I want you to get some more reps, get some more NSIs, some more opportunities to coach people to join your program, right? The problem is that when I talk to most gym owners, they say, I just need more leads. But often, 80% of the time, they've got lots of leads, or more leads than they're using. They're just wasting them. They're not using them. They're not getting them to book an NSI. What they're doing is they're just sitting and waiting. They're waiting for the lead to take action themselves. Instead, we need to coach the leads to take the next step. The second somebody raises their hand and says, I want help, by clicking through your ad, clicking onto your website, filling in a form, whatever that is, that's when you start coaching them. You're not charging them money yet, but you are coaching them. You're coaching them to take the next step. So these strategies are going to help you do more with the assets you already have by coaching people from being a lead into booking a no sweat intro. The first is sell by chat. You can just message the people who follow your business on Facebook and Instagram, and you can use your personal Facebook connections for this. Okay. And, this is all you have to say. Thanks for following us. We really appreciate it. Are you currently active in your fitness? One comment, one question, start a conversation just like a human being would if you were just introduced to somebody at a speed dating event or you just met somebody at Starbucks for the first time. Hey, what are you doing for your fitness these days? Right? It becomes natural and it becomes really easy the more you practice it, but it should feel natural to them right out of the gate. Second is to start a local Facebook group or find one for your city. Okay. So here's some examples that we just happened to pull off some local Facebook groups. Most cities, towns have a local Facebook group or a local moms group, for example. These are great places to look for clients. Message the person who asked the question and the people who commented. Don't worry if the posts are old. Like, even if this post is 2 years old or whatever, that's fine. Go back to them and say, hey, did you ever find a personal trainer in the Jupiter area, for example? Next is a 5130 pace. You'd make this on your public Facebook profile or even on Instagram, and you're going to say, I'm looking for 5 people in, whatever your city is, Toronto, New York, who want to achieve this thing, lose 5 pounds, get stronger in the next 30 days. Send me a message. You want to keep this as simple as you possibly can. It's not, I'm looking for 5 busy adults who want to improve their dynamic mobility in the next 30 days. Like, nobody cares about that. Nobody's on Facebook to improve their dynamic mobility. Keep it simple. Keep it to lose weight or gain strength, something that simple, right? 5 people who want to learn how to do a handstand. That's not bad. It's simple. But 5 people who want to lose 10 pounds in the next 30 days, or 5 people who want to lose 5 pounds in the next 30 days, or 5 men who want to gain more energy in the next 30 days. These are good 5130 posts. Okay. Tell people to shoot you a message and then just follow that same script. How's your fitness going? That's it. Okay. Here's a good example of some 5130 posts. People are commenting, you're responding, send me a DM. Then you are sending them a DM if you don't hear from them within about 12 hours. All right. Next, you can do something on your email list. Hopefully you're capturing an email list so you can send a message out to this, right? You can copy this, and we teach this all, of course, in our mentorship program. We give you templates that you can use. You can copy, paste. You can be on a call with your mentor and actually get this work done while they're staring at you or talking to you. That way we know that you're getting the work done. And by the way, this is one of the real keys, the real values of coaching is that we help you get the work done. This as a fitness coach, as a gym owner, that people could find their own workout programs out there. They could buy their own treadmills. They could start jogging, but they don't. And the reason that they hire you is because they need coaching to get the job done. And it's the same with business coaching. You could read my books. They're right here over my shoulder. You can get them all on Amazon. You can watch these videos. The reality is that most people will not get the work done without coaching. And that's why we have a mentorship program, so that we can actually help you get this stuff done. Great. So here's another email, right? Quick question. That's the name of the email. The subject is literally this. Are you still interested in improving your fitness in 2025, 2026, whatever? If they respond yes, you start a conversation like a human would. All right. Strategy 5 is talk to people. You can make this a personal goal. Go to a coffee shop, go sign up for pickleball, attend a networking event, Rotary Club, whatever that is in your city. Tell people what you do. This will feel weird at first. If you're kind of an introvert or you're telling yourself that, it's going to feel awkward. But if you start a conversation with one person, this is the fastest way to build trust and the fastest way to build your business. And over time, you create this incredibly sticky net in your community where even if the people that you're talking to right now aren't joining your gym, they know 100 other people. And if one of them want to join your gym, this person remembers, oh yeah, I talked to Chris at whatever event, and I think he's a great guy. Let me pass on his information to this person. If you're anything like me, everybody in your town is like 1 degree of separation away. If I don't know you, I know somebody who does. And the best way to reach everybody in your town is to just start as many relationships as possible. Next, look, most gym owners should be using paid ads because they're probably competing against somebody that is. But jumping into paid advertising too soon can get really expensive really quickly if your offer and sales process aren't dialed in. Paid traffic is also really hard or harder to convert than leads generated through organic methods like referrals and social media and content. So before you invest in ads, focus on securing quick wins through the organic strategies that I've already covered. But when you are good at your sales process, when you are good at referrals, when you are good at social media and the email strategies I just shared, now you can pour gas on the fire by using paid ads. So here's the funnel. Your ad should promote an easy to understand offer and link directly to a landing page that's optimized to capture contact information. That might be a form, it might be like a pixel. And from there, you want to get your prospects to book a no sweat intro, and then it's your job to nurture them until they buy. Nurture means you carry the conversation to bridge between that moment when they book an appointment and they show up at your gym and actually purchase. Okay. So your ad, don't copy this one exactly, but follow the general formula. We're looking for this exact client that want to achieve this dream outcome in a short time period. Okay. So you can see kind of the template here. Now, when you're in the Two Brain Mentorship Program, we actually help you build out your ads. So we remove guesswork. We set you up for success. We show you how to measure, how to tweak, and how to keep, narrowing in your sights until you've got the perfect ad. Nobody does the perfect ad their first try. It's not a matter of being creative. It's a matter of being scientific, sighting in your rifle, getting closer and closer and closer until you've got the perfect outcome to your ads. That ad is going to lead to a landing page where you capture their information. This information capture is like getting somebody's phone number at a speed dating event. You're doing that so that you can continue the conversation. The ad's job is just to get them to the website. If they're on the website, the ad has done its job. Mission accomplished. You've got a lead. Now it's the website's job to convert them into booking an appointment. This is really important to understand, and this is why we coach you on it in the Two Brain Mentorship process, because a lot of people will say, I need more leads. The reality is they've got a lot of leads, but they're sending those leads to a bad website, or they don't have a sticky net, or they're flowing right out the door and they're not being captured. So this is the next step, is you got to have a landing page on your website that actually converts leads into appointments. When you're running ads, you don't need to go big. There's no sense in spending $150 a day. You start off with $5 a day, run 3 different variations of the same ad or 3 different ads. After 5 or 6 days, a week, you look at which of the 3 ads is doing the best. You kill the other 2 and you take that money and you reinvest it in the main ad. Now, maybe you want to try 2 other ads at the same time. Okay. But then you look again after a week, which of these 3 is best now? And you double down on that ad and cut the other ones. That's why you're getting better and better results from your ads over time, because you're doubling down on what works and killing what doesn't. And that is the scientific process of running ads. It's not a matter of being the most creative, having the best graphics, having the super secret ad copy. That is not it. You need to be scientific and start with 3 ads and then, double down on the best one, try another 2, double down on the best one, and keep getting better and better. And once you've got an ad that's working, you run it and run it and run it, sometimes for years until it stops. Okay. The other key here is you got to know your metrics. Like, there's no sense just throwing paint on a wall and hoping it sticks. You need to know how much you're paying per lead, how many people who see your ad book a no sweat intro on the landing page, how many of those people show up for their booked NSI. That's called your show rate. How many people who show up for your NSI actually close, who sign up? That's called your close rate. How much money you generate from the average initial sale? That's called your front end revenue. And then you can calculate your return on ad spend. People who say like, oh, I spent $300 on ads and I didn't get any leads. That tells me that they're not tracking these metrics and they're not sure what actually went wrong. Okay. It's like saying I bought a new car and it doesn't work. Well, why doesn't it work? Does it not start? Is the battery dead? Like, is it out of gas? What is the problem? We can solve it. And once you do have it solved, you've got an enormous advantage over every other gym near you. Okay. Paid ads are a numbers game. It's not art, it's science. And to scale, you need to understand the basic advertising math and track key metrics like I've got here. You also want to have a baseline for these numbers before you hire an ad agency for your ads. Do not abdicate responsibility to an ads agency. That's like hiring a chauffeur because your car doesn't work. You need to know how to drive first. Then you know if the ad agency is actually helping you out and getting a good result or not. And we teach you how to do all of this with templates and everything in our mentorship program. We help you set up the ads. We show you exactly like, here's where you get these numbers. Here's how you track them. Here's how you know when you're getting a good result or you're not. All right. So stage one is rapidly increase revenue through improved pricing, packaging, and sales. We went through how to increase ARM. We went through how to get more leads. And by the end of our stage one, you should understand how to get more leads, turn them into members, and make more money per member. Now it's time to make the rest of your business more resilient. Stage two, we use a strategy that's called the Simple Six. And our goal is to systemize the core elements of the gym business, which creates clarity for your staff and scalability for you. So the first thing we're going to do is an audit. I'll walk you through that in a moment. And based on the results of that audit, I'm going to give you, or your mentor is going to give you, a project. It could be a sales project. It could be a content project for content marketing. It could be a financial project. It could be a retention project. It could be an operational project to make your business run more smoothly. It could be a staffing project. This is how we tailor mentorship to you. We give you exactly what you need in the order that you need it. Now let's talk about how we determine your next best step or which project you should be focused on next, instead of just saying, you need to improve your coaching because everybody does, or you need to improve your marketing because everybody does. After you've got the basics down, mentorship means that we tailor the path to you. Gym owners often don't know what's holding them back. They know they've got a lot of options, but they're completely overwhelmed. They can't figure out what their next best step is. The Simple Six diagnostic measures your gym's performance against 6 core areas, and that helps you pinpoint the area in your business that needs the most work or where lies the best opportunity. All right, let's work through this together. Growing your gym can get pretty overwhelming, but one thing that a mentor does really well is identify your next best step. And that means we're going to single task our way to success. We're going to identify one thing that you can do right now, tell you exactly how to do it, give you all the tools that you need to get it done, and then move on to the next thing. What stops most of us from growing is this paralysis of overwhelm. Like, I've got so many things I could do. I could start at, I could do referrals, I could put up door hangers. What a mentor is going to do is cut through all of that and say, do this one thing today. And as soon as it's done, we'll work on the next thing. But how do you know what that first thing is? Well, this is what we call the 6 strategies audit. Now, what you'll notice here is that each one of these refers to a different metric in your business. So for example, the first metric is going to be net owner benefit, how much you take home. The second one is going to be how many clients you have. The third one will be ARM, your average revenue per member. The next will be length of engagement, how long people stay. The fourth will be your effective hourly rate, how much you earn. And the last one will be expenses. Okay, so ROI. Here we go, expenses. Now, what we're going to do is figure out what your next best step should be. So I'm going to be circling these as we go. Now, how much money do you earn from your business take home per month? These numbers, by the way, came from our massive data set called the State of the Industry that we collect and publish every single year through TwoBrain. And so we know like what the average gym owner earns, and you can rank yourself here. Okay. So let's go. How much money do you earn from your business take home per month? Well, the average gym owner is right around between that 3,500 and 4,500. So why don't we just give ourselves, maybe that 3,500. Now, if you're somewhere in between, you want to select the lowest possible number, okay? So it should be pretty obvious. The next is, how many clients do you have on recurring memberships? Well, you might say, well, the industry average, Coop, is about 126. I'm actually better than that. I've got 135. So I'm at 130, but I'm not at 150. I'm going to highlight this, 130. Good, okay. What is your average revenue per member per month? Well, if I take all the revenue that I have and I divide it by my 135 members, my ARM comes out to be about 120. Well, I'm going to circle 115 here because it's a little bit above that, but it's not 135. Okay. What is my average length of engagement in months? I think that's pretty good. We're around 15 months, which is good. That's above the industry average, below the TwoBrain average, but still pretty good. So here we go. Right. I'm a 5 out of 10. I've got a lag of about 14, 15 months. What's my time worth? Boy, oh boy, if I take the amount of money that I take home and I divide that by the hours that I work, I can see that my effective hourly rate is about $25 an hour. Okay, well, you know what? If I worked an hour or two less, I could make that 28, but right now it's 21. I'm going to highlight that. By the way, this is a big eye opener for a lot of people, isn't it? And then finally, how much of my money goes toward expenses? Now, this is not including payroll. This is the rent. This is your loan payment, etc. Okay, maybe the government for your corporate taxes. What percentage of that every month? Boy, that's high. Man, I know it's not quite half, but it's 45% of my money goes right out the door to pay the landlord, to pay the utility bill, to pay the internet bill, to pay the phone bill, to pay the, whatever that is. It's 45%. Wow. Okay. So I'm looking at this chart, and this is really, really simple. What is my biggest opportunity for improvement? Well, it's probably the lowest ranking number here. Okay. So I see two opportunities. Number one, improve ARM. Number two, improve the value of your time. Look, if you're a struggling gym owner, you're probably not going to get away with working less. I said that earlier in this video. Your EHR is not going to be your primary focus. That's naturally going to go up as you increase your revenue because you'll be making more money in the same amount of time. You might even be working a little bit more in the short term to bring those numbers up so that you can earn more in the long term, but you won't be wasting time anymore. You'll be spending as much time or maybe even a little bit more time in the short term, but your time is going to become dramatically more valuable from doing this work. And so looking at all these options, the one that I'm going to pick is right here, ARM. Okay. So if I've got 130 clients already, I'm doing pretty well there. That should not be my focus. What I should be looking at is increasing the ARM of the clients that I do have, because let's face it, if I can go from 115 just to the next step, if I can go up to 135 here, that's adding $20 a month per client. And if you multiply that by 130 clients, I mean, we're talking about $2,600 a month. And all of that goes straight to the bottom line because there's no expenses that come along with that usually. Okay. So this is how we determine your next best step. My next best step, according to this, is very, very clear. I need to focus on increasing the average revenue that I make per member, not how many members I have, not retention, not how many hours I work. Okay. If I do that, then my next best step after that is probably going to be giving myself a raise, but we'll get there. The first next best step is let's increase your ARM. And that's how the 6 strategies audit works. Now at Two Brain, we have a dashboard that does this with you. You put in your metrics every month. Your mentor is working one-on-one. Here's your next best step. So our strategy is going to be increase ARM. How are we going to do that? Well, the mentor is going to give you some options. Increase your rates, sell an on-ramp, offer personal training. Like there's a dozen different ways that you can increase your ARM by $10, $20 over the next couple of months. And the mentor is going to help you identify that and work through it. So I said that we identified your next best step, your opportunity to improve using that audit. And again, in Two Brain, we have an app for that. It's not quite as rudimentary like circling things on a sheet, but you get it. And so after we've done that, we assign a project to help you improve that metric. So for example, if you need to improve your ARM, we're going to give you a sales project. If you need to improve your client headcount or get more leads, we're going to give you a content project. If you need to fix your expenses or you don't understand your metrics, you don't feel like you have control of your business, we're going to give you a financial project. If your clients are leaving before the 2-year mark, we're going to give you a retention project. And if you're irreplaceable in the business, you're constantly working a 16-hour day, you're overwhelmed, you have to answer every phone call, you can't trust your staff to do it without you, we're going to give you an operational project. And if you've got staff, but they're kind of all over the place, some are good, some are bad, whatever, you don't have time, you're micromanaging them, we're going to give you a staffing project. Okay. Most gym owners struggle because they're trying to fix everything at once. Instead, you need to focus on the project that corresponds with the weakest area of your gym. That's your biggest opportunity. Fix that. And once that's done, retake the diagnostic and work on the next weakest area. And you repeat that process over and over until you've completed 6 projects. By then, you'll have a dramatically stronger gym. It will look completely different to you. And we can go into each project in detail now. So you've got a sense of what those are. So The first project that we give gym owners in our mentorship program is go get 5 new clients. So you've done that first stage, right? You've built your sales process, you've role played it, you've got your sales binder, you know what your intro offer is, you're good at the prescriptive model. Now it's time to go. And we call this sell week. And it should sound like hell week. But the first thing I want, before I get into sell week with you, I want you to understand that the best next client is probably going to come from your current clients. It's easier to increase your ARM on the clients that you have than to go out there and get a stranger to sign up. The next best audience for sales is your former clients. These people already know, like, and trust you. It's a way easier to get somebody who used to come to your gym to come back than it is to find a stranger and convince them to start exercising at your gym on these days for this price. Then the next best audience for your sales is your email list. These people already are paying attention. They're just not paying you money yet. And so it's just a small step to get them to come into your gym, talk to you, get a prescription, and start working out. The next best audience after that are your organic audiences. These are people who are also paying attention. They're just paying attention to a lot of other people. And so, it might take a little bit more work, but we can convince them to take the step into your gym. Then the next best audience is referrals. These are strangers, but they're only 1 degree of separation away. So somebody that they know, like, and trust is recommending you, but they don't know, like, or trust you yet. And then finally, strangers. So while we do want to talk to strangers, we do want to generate leads from our communities, people we haven't met yet, they're our last priority after we've exhausted all of these other ones. Okay. So here's how Sell Week works. We teach a lot of marketing and sales strategies in the Two Brain Mentorship course. And partway through that course, we have what we call Sell Week. And it's supposed to sound like Hell Week on purpose, because here's what we want you to do. We want gym owners to practice getting reps at things until those things are successful. Mentorship is never one and done. We're going to teach you this thing. You're going to do it. It's going to be perfect the first time, just like fitness. And so what we want to do is we want to share a bunch of different strategies, get you working on those repeatedly until you find which ones are most comfortable for you, which ones you're best at. So let's look at Sell Week. So what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at getting some clients back. We're going to be doing some referral marketing. We're going to be doing some organic social media, some sales role play, some referral marketing, so a Bring a Friend Friday event, 5130 email post, an organic social post, and then some paid ads. And what we're going to do is we're going to go all in on just selling 5 new members. Secret trick. This is one way that people pay for our program once they get started really, really quickly. The ROI is massive because we do things like this. Instead of just teaching you stuff, it's all about taking action, keep doing what's working, repeat and get better and better. It's virtuosity. So what we do in Sell Week is this. We'll say, okay, you're going to be trying all these things. So the first is a 10-word email to previous clients. The most likely clients to join your gyms are the ones who were already part of your gym and then they left and then they just kind of forgot to come back. So we're going to send out a 10-word email. Okay. In general, people usually get 1 to 2 clients back. That's a big old check mark. Great. And that's 1 done. Then you're going to go to referral marketing. Sometimes we call this affinity marketing. We're going to go to a client who is training with us and we're going to say, it is so amazing to have you here. We are so proud of your progress. You've mentioned your wife a couple of times. She's an accountant. We know it's a stressful time of the year. What do you think it would take to get her to come in and do a one-on-one workout with you next Tuesday? Well, we could invite her. Let's invite her. Great. And then when she shows up, we try out a little workout with the husband, the spouse, and then we just do an on-the-spot, no-sweat intro, ask about her goals, and then we try to sign her up. And when that works, we can check that off, and we've already got 2. Now, keep in mind that these are things don't take a day, right? You've already learned how to do them. You've practiced them. Now it's time to just execute. Next, an organic social. Maybe we make a 5130 post and 2 or 3 people respond. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm looking for 5 women who have this one goal to lose 5 pounds in the next 30 days. People respond. They're interested. We bring them in. We sign them up. Sales role play. This always improves our close rate, which means that if we've already got NSIs coming in, we're more likely to sign those people up and coach them into joining our gym. Okay. Affinity marketing. There's another great one. Hey, by the way, I know your wife is an accountant. What if I went to her office and did a lunch and learn to talk to accountants about how to beat stress, how to stretch at their desk so they're not getting stress headaches, how to keep moving so they're not gaining weight or internalizing their stress? Okay. So we could probably set that up. It's not going to pay off this week, maybe, but maybe it will. Maybe we can get that done by Friday. Bring a friend Friday. We can set that up. Gym owners quite often get 2 or 3 people to sign up from there. An email post. We can send the same email as we did in our organic marketing, but to a different audience through our list. I'm looking for 5 women with one goal in the next 30 days. Sometimes people get people to sign up through an email list instead of through social. Another one is organic social. Just posting a link to your brand new no sweat intro option on your website will often get people to sign up. And of course, paid ads. But here's the trick. We want to spend 1 week just focused on getting 5 new clients based on the stuff that you've already learned. So you learn it, you practice it with the mentor, then you practice it on live clients. And now that you've done it once, you can start trying to get better at it, get good at it, just like you're learning an air squat or a press or a clean and jerk. First, you try it. The coach gives you some feedback. You try it again. You do a little bit better. And the more you do it, the better you get with feedback. And that is what Sell Week is all about. And this is how people pay for mentorship so quickly in our program. It's one of the things that we do. This might look overwhelming to you, especially after I've gone through it. But we teach each of these things to every 2Brain client. And by the time you get through stage 1 of our program, you will know how to do these exactly. And your mentor is still there to do them with you. If you're uncomfortable or unsure, or, oh boy, I don't think I can do it very well yet, we can get practice reps. The mentor is there to coach you through Sell Week, okay? In our toolkit, all the resources to do all of this stuff is right there. It's copy, paste, do exactly this thing at this time with these words in this picture. It's very, very simple so that you can take action and actually get results. The next project is marketing. And so now we want to start building trust with what we would call brand marketing. And we do that through content. This is content, right? I'm doing something to help you. I'm not giving you a big sales pitch. The content that's in gymownersunited.com is there to help you get results. This is the kind of content that I'm talking about. None of us sells knowledge anymore. Your clients can find knowledge, but they want to find it from somebody they can trust. And so you need to create content, and you're going to do that for 30 days in a row. So the next project that we give to people, especially if they're having trouble with lead nurture or generating leads, is to post content 30 days in a row. And so what that means is we're going to tell you what to post, and we're going to help you understand that content quantity is more important than content quality. The goal here is just to try out a few different mediums like podcasting, blogging, YouTube, find out where you feel most comfortable, and then double down on that. And to help you do that, we give gym owners in 2Brain a content cheat sheet, a content calendar. And what you do is you pretend that I'm interviewing you, you take out your phone, you shoot a video, you record your voice, or you type your response in a blog post, whatever. And we'll say, day 1, share the journey of your gym. What made you want to open a gym in the first place? And it's like I'm interviewing you, okay? So you use the topics as a cheat sheet. The consistency is the most important thing. And every day for 30 days, you publish this content with our help. And hopefully, you don't stop at 30 days. We have hundreds of sample topics and posts and blog posts that you can copy and paste in our blog bank for 2Brain clients too. The third project that we give to people who need to improve retention is mapping their client journey. Now, retention drives profit. Most gyms who need to make more profit, or most gym owners who need to make more money, can do that more easily by keeping the clients they have longer than by getting new clients. Losing members kills your momentum. We found that the average gym owner would make an extra $45,000 a year if every single client in their gym stayed 3 more months than they currently are, right? That's it. And so more importantly, you need to keep a client for 2 years because that's long enough for them to build a habit that changes their lives. So that should actually be your goal. It's also great for your business. And the way that we're going to improve that is we're going to map out every step in your client's journey from the day they come in the door all the way through the point where they are fully bought in, they're committed, and they're on a recurring membership. That's usually about 90 days to start. Later, we'll do a longer client journey, but at first, this will help us keep clients through that 90-day mark and set them up for success. So the first phase is we assess. Okay. So we do an objective measurement. Here's where you want to go. Here's where you are now. Here are all the steps that you'll need to hit to get there. That's the assessment phase. The second is to admit them, which is to coach them to sign up. So you put them into your on-ramp, and then you affirm their commitment with a text the next day and emails and calls and appointments, so they never have time or brain space to experience buyer's remorse. That's what affirmation is. Hey, here's a video from your new coach welcoming you to class, stuff like that. Phase 3, you activate them and you acclimate them. So you take them through your on-ramp. You teach them about the culture of your gym. You teach them a philosophy of your CrossFit program. You teach them how to use the kettlebells and what the different colors mean. You make them comfortable. You introduce them to 3 other people so they've got these connections. Okay? Activate and acclimate them. Phase 4 is accomplish. Find a win. Find a bright spot. Use like an ascension model. Now you're a yellow belt, that kind of thing. Let them feel like they can do this. Put them on a podium. Take their picture. You did your first 100-pound deadlift. That's amazing. That kind of thing. It's not just praising them. It's putting them on a podium and making them famous. And then finally, phase 5 is moving them into a regular recurring membership. That's adoption and advocate. The secret trick that keeps people sticking around longer is they bring a friend in, because if their friend is there, they're not going to quit before the friend does, because they're the one that recommended you to the friend. So referrals are actually an amazing retention play for your current members too. We're going to map this all out in our mentorship program. We're going to give it to you step by step. We're going to work you through a spreadsheet step by step. We're going to give you sample texts. We're going to give you video prompts to send to people. We're going to give you articles that you can send out, show you how to build all of this and even automate it if you've got a CRM software. In some gyms, you even want to make a beautiful graphic and put it on your wall. This is a graphic that I have on my wall at Catalyst. We tell people exactly where their appointments are. Now, of course, the client journey that we build is way more detailed than this, but I'm not going to put the text of every email that I'm going to send the client up on my wall. I just want a simple graphic that helps them understand there's a process here, there are steps, and let them see what's coming next. When a client doesn't know what's coming next, they run out of future, and usually they run out of your gym too, okay? We're going to give you a visual like this that you can build for your gym. If you want to, you can print it out and put it up on your wall like mine. I think it looks amazing. It sets their client expectation, and setting that expectation of here's what's coming next increases your leg. Now that the clients are staying longer, the first step toward dialing back your hours as an owner is going to be standardizing your operations. So that's project number 4. People who couldn't leave their gym, who couldn't take a day off, for example, people who couldn't go 3 days with no contact, they need to standardize their operations. They need to get their business out of their head and into a playbook. If everything depends on you, your gym is absolutely fragile. To make your gym resilient, you must get the best practices out of your head and into a playbook that anybody could follow. These are called standard operating procedures. Once upon a time, I was doing a powerlifting meet. This would have been 2006, and I got injured. I tore my QL. The next day, I had to go to the gym with one leg that wouldn't really even work. I tightened up my weight belt, my Inzer powerlifting belt under my shirt, cranked it down, took like 4 Tylenol, drove myself to work, couldn't even get out of the truck. I had to get somebody to help me into the building, train my clients all that day, couldn't pick up a weight. Every one of my clients was like, what are you doing here? But I couldn't lose the revenue, and I couldn't trust somebody else to train them the right way, let alone open the door, take the money, book the appointment. I felt like I had to do everything myself. And that's when I learned I had to get my business out of my head. If you can't go 3 days without any contact with your business and be confident that the business will not just survive, but grow without you, this section is for you. You want your business to be on paper and out of your head, because nobody can read your mind. Your staff has to be able to follow the same processes over and over consistently. They should coach a class the same way every time. They should clean the gym the same way every time. They should prepare the P&L the same way every time. They should run the billing the same way every time. This creates a predictable business that you don't have to stress or micromanage anybody. But the key is to write off these standard operating procedures as clearly as possible. You have to make them 8-year-old easy. We call it 8-year-old easy because that means an 8-year-old could understand it, but they would also be encouraged to ask you questions if they don't understand something. 8 years old is kind of when we stop asking those questions. Okay. So you want to make this so simple that anybody could pick it up for the first time and automatically understand what you're saying step by step without any gaps. For me, I have to put myself in a beginner's mindset to do this. And so if I'm writing, for example, an opening checklist, and I'll be giving this to whomever the coach is or the first person to arrive in my gym every morning, I want to actually walk through the steps myself because I'm really guilty of skipping steps and assuming people will know or assuming things are common sense or they're going to read my mind. Like that's not going to happen. I have to make it 8-year-old easy. So this is going to be an opening checklist. Each day, I'm going to start from the very beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually carry a notepad with me. I'm going to park my truck behind my gym. I'm going to take the worst spot in the lot and save the better spots for my clients. So park in back. That's step one. What do you think step two is going to be? Well, it's going to be unlock the door. Right? Do you want to leave the door unlocked? Well, you probably not. I would lock it behind me. For now, because I'm assuming that I'm there pretty early to get things opened up. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disable the alarm. Seems like common sense. The code at my gym is 1218. Don't tell. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is turn on all of the lights. Now, I have a fairly big sized gym, 6,500 square feet, and it's partitioned off into 3 separate kind of areas. And if I don't tell the staff turn on all of the lights, they will just turn on the lights for the area that they're going to be coaching in or using. And what that means is that when somebody comes through the door, you go through this hallway and you see a bright light down that way and you see just darkness over here. And it looks kind of abandoned, like who's here? Okay. Then I'm going to have them adjust the heat or the temperature to 65 degrees. Okay. In the wintertime, we have it a little bit warmer overnight. In the summer, we might have the air conditioning off overnight. Then I'm going to put start music. Okay. And I'm going to tell them exactly where to put it because if every coach is choosing their own music, who knows what they're going to pick. Some clients who are coming in first thing in the morning don't want to listen to gangster rap. They might also not want to listen to my music, which is going to be like old school Metallica. Some clients who are coming in after dinner or at lunchtime might want that, right? They might want faster, louder music. And so start the music and you're going to put, Spotify, fitness playlist or whatever. Okay. For many years before there was internet radio, we would just have like a couple of burned CDs with a mix and we'd replace that every 3 months or so. And we just tell them like, you put this in, you do not play your own music through your phone. Okay. That's key. Then what time do you want them to unlock the door? 15 minutes before class. Okay. So that people can start coming in and just, they're going to warm up with the coach, but they need to put their bag down. They need to go to the bathroom. They need to change, maybe whatever, right? But you want them to feel comfortable showing up a little bit early. And then, start class precisely on time. You might want to even have your class breakdown, but that's going to be a separate SOP because the class breakdown is going to happen at any time of the day. And you want every class to be run the exact same way. Now, this doesn't mean that there's no room for different coach personalities. Of course there are. And of course, the music's going to be different at lunchtime than it is at 5 a.m. And of course, you want different coaches having different styles. That's fine. But every client needs to know a few things. Number one, the class is going to start precisely on time. This means that, hey, if class isn't going to start till 5 after, I can stay at my desk for an extra 5 minutes and then drive across town. And then I'm not missing anything. I'm not wasting any time. Also, it's going to end precisely on time. So that means I know exactly when I can get out of the gym and back to work to pick up my kids, whatever that is. You want to be predictable. Predictable is good. The first hallmark of excellence is predictability. You need to build on a solid, predictable platform. The other thing that needs to happen is a client needs to know that no matter who is coaching the class tonight, it's going to start on time, finish on time. There's going to be a really good warm up. There's going to be a lot of excitement, loud music, fun times, good leadership. If you have in your gym people saying, well, I don't really want to come on Tuesday at 6 because Coop is coaching and I don't, he's boring. You got a huge problem with consistency more than anything else. It's not a fix the coach problem. It's a fix the process problem. And this is how you do it. You want to be granular. You might think like, oh man, people are going to think that I think they're an idiot if I break this down to this level. That's not true. You're way better off to have every single step and have them say, okay, I get it, than to skip a step. For example, you forget to tell them to turn on all the lights and then, they just don't do it, right? You're way better off to make it 8-year-old simple. Make it simple as you can and then make it simpler. Try to see it through other people's eyes and approach this with a beginner's mind. This is the first step to creating independence in your gym because you're creating consistency even when you're not there. We call this passing the hit by the bus test. If you were hit by a bus today, could somebody come into your gym, pick this book up tomorrow and run your gym to the exact same level of excellence that you would? That's the test. Okay. Once you've created standard operating procedures for all of your key gym operations, you put them all together into one document that's called a staff playbook. Now, this is an operating system for your gym. It's how you know that every process gets followed the exact same way consistently while you're away from the gym. Now, we're also going to help you introduce this to your staff because if your gym's been around for 5 years or longer and you haven't had these before, this is going to be new, but we're going to coach you through how to introduce this to your staff to get them on board and following the playbook, even if you haven't done it before. Once the playbook is done and it's been introduced to your staff, then we encourage the owner to take a 3-day vacation from their gym, not because everything's going to be perfect, but because they need to test what's going to break. So now that the service is standardized, let's make sure that your gym is financially strong. So what we want every gym owner to do when they're in stage 2 of our mentorship program is to give themselves a raise. Most gym owners struggle with financial reporting, and quite often they're scared to even look at their metrics or their bank account because they feel like it's not in their control. And they don't want to know. They hide from their numbers. And that means that they're in the backseat of their business. They're not driving it. They're kind of a passenger, and they're at the mercy of this car that's going 100 miles an hour, but nobody's behind the wheel. You have to know your numbers if you want to take control, grab the wheel of that business, or make the car go faster. And so that means if you're going to pay yourself more, you got to know these numbers. So here's what we're going to do. I've got this finance project. I'm going to teach you how to read a P&L. This is a skill that you will keep for the rest of your life. This is a skill that would cost you $60,000, $70,000 to learn if you went to college for it. We're going to give it to you in our mentorship program. We're going to give you a sandbox P&L. We're going to teach you how to use it. But most importantly, we're going to play with it. We're going to get you comfortable using it so that for the next 3 decades of gym ownership, you are comfortable taking control of your financials. And so I'm going to walk you through this really briefly now, but in our program, not only are you going to learn to use this, you're going to be comfortable with it. We're not going to force you to do something that you're uncomfortable with. We're not going to force you to become an accountant or give you an MBA. You are going to learn to use this tool just like you would use a barbell with a client. This is a sample micro gym profit and loss. It's a basic financial document that's kind of like the steering wheel of your business. This is what you use to make decisions instead of following your gut or chasing ideas. We give you a copy of this in the mentorship program very early for a couple of reasons. Number one, we really want to help you fill it out. Number two, we want you to be comfortable using it because if you're comfortable using it, it's like being comfortable driving your car. This is how you take control. If you don't know how to use this, and hey, I've been there, I was like, I don't want to be an accountant. I want to run my gym. I want to be a coach. But if you don't know how to use this, you're not really driving the car. You're always at the mercy of external events or, luck or good marketing. And you never really know when something is working and when it's not. You're making guesses instead of making informed decisions. So we give you a sample of this, and you can turn right around and give this to your bookkeeper. They can set up your QuickBooks or whatever, your accounting software to match this. We can even feed it directly into our Two Brain dashboard every month so that you don't have to manually enter this stuff. But just like changing your tires, even if you never plan on changing your tires yourself, you should know how to do it so that you're not stuck alone in the dark somewhere. Let me just run you through what a profit and loss statement is. The profit and loss statement is broken down to track your money, where it comes from, where it's going, and what's left over. First, where it's coming from. This is your revenue. So this is where you want to break down how many members you have, your average membership price. You can calculate the total revenue that you're bringing in each month, and you can see your ARM. I'm going to come back and show you a little trick with this in a moment. The next part is your expenses. Okay, where's your money going? And I'm just going to hit a little button here so you can see something here. Okay, so you can go line by line through your expenses and see where your money is going. If you're paying for affiliation, maybe that's here. Cleaning, what are you paying? What are you paying for your insurance? Put it here. What are you putting towards your marketing? What's your actual rent? What's your merchant fees? Change that here. Okay. So that you know exactly where your money is going. Because if you're anything like me, before I started looking at this, I didn't have control of my business. And so all I would see is my business bank account. And quite often I would be too scared to even look at that for fear there was nothing in there. And so you want to know, well, how come I've got all these clients and money's coming in, but there's nothing left over at the end of the month? This will tell you exactly where that money is going. And you should be looking at this once a month so that you know, not because you're making mistakes, not because people are stealing from you, but because you need to know where the money's coming from and where it's going and why it's different this month than last. Okay. So this is the part of the P&L that tells you where your money is going. Okay. And this part too, this is your staff pay. I said earlier, your biggest investment. Now we've set this P&L up in Two Brain so that it automatically calculates how much you're paying for classes, how much you're paying your coaches for personal training or nutrition coaching or whatever, how much you're paying coaches to do other things like social media or admin or cleaning or the CSM job or whatever that is, and what the total is here. Okay. Then we want to know how much is going to you. So this is, you are the best investment that your gym can make. You're the best investment that you can make in yourself. But we want to know how much you're making from a salary and how much you're making to coach classes. Because if you decide to coach less or coach more, you need to adjust this to see what will happen. And then finally, owner pay. Now, we built this out for a gym owner just like you to show them if they want to earn 100K a year, how many clients do they need at what ARM? So this coach said, well, I've got space and coaching to help 150 clients. I can pay my coaches $30 per class. If I run 50 classes a week, that is a lot for 150 members. You could probably do it with 35 classes, but that's okay. Then I want to also pay for healthcare and employment taxes or whatever. They're in a state where their employees are employees and not subcontractors. So they increase their overhead by this much. Then they said, okay, well, what if I, did more personal training? What if I added a nutrition program or started selling supplements? And we could put those in here to see how that would affect their numbers. Now, what's really interesting here is that we work with a lot of gyms that are studios, like personal training. Maybe they're semi-private. And so what they're going to do is they're going to use a P&L just like this, but they're not going to target 150 members. Maybe they target 50. Okay. So now what they're going to do is they're going to do this with 50 members a month. Okay. They're not going to have any secondary revenue streams. All they're going to do is semi-private. They're going to charge at least $205 a month. They're going to do, $12,000 in expenses a month because they're not paying for classes to be covered. You see that here. Okay. There are some coaches that are making a little bit of money, but it's mostly the owner. This is a good owner operator model. And look, at the end of it all, they're making $43,000 a year. Is that what they want to be? No, but that's where they're starting from. And now we can see like, well, here are some levers to get you more revenue and more income. You could, what happens if you change your average monthly rate to 225? We can go down to the bottom line here and we can immediately see, okay, well, that did a little bit, right? That's good. What if we also move up to like 70 members? How will that affect you? You can see the revenue just changed there. Okay. And now you can see like down here, the net income has gone up to 76,000 a year. Okay. So you can see like which levers you can pull by looking at this at a moment's notice. Instead of just guessing and saying, what if I got 10 more members? That would help, right? But the reality is that when you continually only focus on getting more members, you have to add more classes. That means you need more classes a week. That means you need more coaches. That means you need more equipment. So then these costs start going up. Your rent goes up because you need more space. Your loan repayment goes up because you've got to get more equipment. Your staff costs go up because you got to coach more classes. Increasing ARM is quite often the first step. But what's right for you? Let's see what the numbers say. Let's look at things on a P&L. Your mentor is going to do this with you the first time. They're going to help you plug the numbers, find the numbers, get them into your P&L. They're going to teach you how to do it. They're going to help you do it until you're comfortable. And then you'll have better control for your business for the rest of your life. This is a skill that a university would charge you probably about $60,000 to learn. We want you to have this skill forever because you can't run a great business without it. And once you've mastered it, you're way ahead of everybody else. So now that you're a little bit more comfortable with your metrics, we want you to set a goal for your income. How much do you want to earn a year? Like what would make this gym sustainable? None of us got into this for money, but let's face it, money is the reason most of us get out of it. I'll say that again. Nobody gets into the fitness profession for money, but most people get out of the fitness profession because of money. Every year, 10,000 trainers join the industry, and every year 9,000 leave. Not because they lose passion, not because they're like, oh, this isn't what I thought, because they're out of money. They might blame it on something else. Oh, actually, I decided to pursue a thrilling career in real estate. But the reality is it's always money. And so the next thing that we want to do is help you pick a target that you want to take home. This is net owner benefit. And if you don't have a target, then you'll always be at the mercy of whatever's left over in your bank account. That's the wrong way to approach this. You have to set a target. Just like a client setting a weight loss goal, you need to set a net owner benefit goal or you will never achieve it. You can't make a living on what's left over. You can't feed your family on table scraps. You have to have a strategy and you have to have a clear goal if you're going to improve your income. So here's just some baselines. If you're doing 20 to 25 grand in revenue, you should be making a net owner benefit of $4,000 a month. If not, one of your other metrics is off and a mentor will help you decide what that is and what you need to improve. If you're doing, $10,000 in revenue a month, you should be taking $750 out of the business to your house. Now, it might not feel like a lot, and you might say, why don't I just leave that in the business? Because you need to build the practice, the habit, and the discipline to pay yourself first. Let's face it, if the landlord doesn't get paid this month, they'll give you a month's grace, right? If the loan doesn't get paid this month, the bank will say, okay, well, make sure you pay it next month. But if you don't get paid this month, your spouse is going to say, where's the grocery money? Your kids are going to say, how come I can't get a new pair of shoes? And you're going to start thinking about quitting. Ask me how I know, because that was me. Even when the business is doing 20 grand in revenue, if you're not taking money home, your business is done. You have to eat, or this is a non-sustainable business. The number one reason that most gyms don't help nearly as many people as they could is not the marketing. It's because the business owner goes hungry and can't starve themselves forever. That's what kills gyms. Now, there's a few ways that we can do this. Number one is a financial audit. We're not really looking to cut things. We're looking to maximize our ROI on things. So once you've got your net owner benefit target, you can go line by line through your P&L because you'll be comfortable doing that now. And you look for expenses that can be eliminated. For everything that you spend money on, ask yourself, am I getting the best possible ROI on this? But cutting expenses will only get you so far. The biggest expense for most gym owners is their staff. So let me give you some framework for getting the most out of every dollar you spend on payroll, your biggest and best investment every single month. And this is our sixth project, which is to increase your effective hourly rate. Look, when you're a trainer, you make what a trainer makes. When you're an owner, you should make more than you would make as a trainer. So if you're doing personal training and you would take home $32 an hour from that, that's your cut of the personal training, then opening a gym should take you to the next level. You should be making more than $32 an hour as a CEO than you would as a trainer. If not, you're better off as a trainer. So let's talk about getting you to that next level. That's called your effective hourly rate. Now, this is a scary number for a lot of people. I'll be honest. A lot of gym owners, they've never measured this. They come into our program and they're like, oh, I'm working really hard. I'm doing okay financially. And then they work out their effective hourly rate and they realize they could make more money working for Amazon in the plant, shuffling crates around and paying for their gym membership on their own. Don't worry, we can fix this, but you have to be deliberate about it. So EHR is easy to calculate. You take how much net owner benefit you make a month, and you divide that by your total hours worked. And I don't mean just hours in the gym. If you're spending 3 hours every Sunday doing your content or writing your programming, you got to count that time because we're trying to figure out what you're worth now, not to make you feel good or bad about it, just to have a starting place so that we can do better over time. Now, here's what you're going to do. We call this the buyback principle. You're going to be buying back your time so that you can reinvest it in better places. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through something that's called the value ladder so that you can identify and delegate low value tasks and roles in your gym and then reinvest that time into higher value tasks and roles to grow your gym. When my first mentor said, Chris, you've got to hire yourself some help to buy yourself some time to do the things that are going to grow the business, I said, but I don't have any money. And this is the exercise that he took me through. He had me break down every single hat that I was wearing in the gym. So, for example, I was doing some coaching. I was also doing the admin work. I was doing all the building and the attendance and booking appointments on the calendar. I was doing the personal training a lot of the time, although I had other people helping me. I'll just put PT here. I was doing all the blogging, all the social media. I'll just put media. And another thing that I was doing was the cleaning. When you think about all the different hats that you're wearing and you separate those things into separate roles, it becomes very clear where you have the opportunity to buy back your time. So if I were to replace myself in any of these roles, what would it have cost? Well, back then I was paying my group coaches about $25 an hour. I probably could have gotten an admin. I think back then the minimum wage is around $12.50 in Canada. I probably could have got an admin for about $15. I was paying my personal trainers about $31 per session. Media, I had no idea. There just weren't people out there who were doing media for me. So that number seemed really, really high, like $100 a session, an hour. And I also knew that I could hire a cleaner for minimum wage, which was $12.50. Then if I started extrapolating this out and saying, how many hours a week am I doing for this? Well, I had a coach that was helping me probably about 12 classes a week. My admin, I figured would probably take about 3 hours a week. The personal trainers were just, however many they booked, but they were quite often booking 20 hours a week. I was spending hopefully 1 hour a day on media, so 5 to 6 hours a week. And then the cleaner, I thought, well, if the cleaner comes once, for an hour, 3 or 4 times a week, that would help us out a lot. And then what I can do is I can multiply these. So if I'm looking at, $25 an hour times 12 hours a week, $300 to replace myself there, $45 to replace myself there. Personal trainer, probably about $620 to replace myself there. Media, high also, that's a 5. Cleaning, I can probably replace myself for about, $37.50. Now, if I'm looking at this list, I can say, okay, well, what would it cost me to buy myself back 3 hours as cheaply or as inexpensively as possible? Well, it looks like the best opportunity here is actually the cleaner. And so that's what I did. I hired this cleaner and he would come in at 9 o'clock every night. And while he was working on doing the cleaning, following my checklist, I would sit down and I would work on the highest value use of my time, which, look like media. And so I was writing emails to my list. And the first day, I literally made enough from sending an offer to buy more personal training to my list. I made enough to pay for the cleaner for the entire month, $400. And so I said, okay, that's how this works. Where can I buy back more of my time? And the next thing that I hired was, well, maybe we can look at, the admin. But you don't have to do all these things up front, and you don't have to put somebody on an expensive salary, and you don't have to replace yourself in the coaching role. Find a place where you can buy back your time as inexpensively as possible, and then reinvest your time into doing higher value work. Okay, so let's review. In stage 2 of our mentorship program, we systemize the core elements of your business. We start with a diagnostic to see where your biggest opportunities are, and then we assign a project to improve on that opportunity. And then we do a diagnostic to figure out where your next best step is. And then we assign a project to work on that. And by the end of stage 2, you'll have done a project to improve every element of your business. Improve your ARM, improve your client headcount, improve your financial control and your expenses, improve your retention, improve your operations, and help your staff do a better job to buy you back some more time. Those are the 6 big projects in the second stage of mentorship. Stage 3 is called growth. And now that you've got the basics down and you're running on systems and you've got your payroll settled and you've got control of your finances and you've built 4 marketing funnels, now it's time to define, where are we going with all this? Ultimately, what is your perfect day? Then with your mentor, you're going to build a plan to get there, not just dream about it, not just set a big, hairy, audacious goal. My grandpa always used to say something that stuck with me. He said, Chris, you can wish in one hand and pee in the other and see which gets full first. If you've got a goal and you don't have a plan, that's a wish. Stage 1 of our mentorship program was about increasing revenue. Stage 2 was about making the business run without you by building systems. Stage 3, growth stage, is about refining those systems and building your perfect life. Gym owners often grind for years and years without ever even defining what success will mean to them. What success means to me is going to be different from what success means to you. And the goal is to get crystal clear here on what your perfect day looks like so that that's what we're building toward. If you don't define that, who knows what we're building toward, but we're probably building toward chaos, some undefined place, okay? So once we define that perfect day, we can work backward, identify the steps to make that a reality, identify all the metrics that you have to hit, define your next best step one after the other, and coach you through doing the work, okay? You've got monthly check-ins with your mentor for continuous refinement to make sure that you're on track doing the work. And over time, these things compound. The marketing works better and better. You get better and better at sales. Clients stay longer and longer. Staff take more and more responsibility and do their jobs better and better. The gym operates more and more independently, and you gain more and more freedom. This is how you wind up going from working a 16-hour day to working a 4-hour day, from earning nothing to earning 100K NOB per year. These systems work together to build momentum and get you closer and closer to these goals all the time. So really quickly, we can work through this exercise. Think for a minute about your perfect day. In a perfect world, when the gym was working amazingly, exactly the way that you wanted it to, what time would you wake up in the morning? When would you go to the gym? Maybe you wouldn't even go to the gym, but I would, right? Most of us got into this business because we love it. Most of us would go to the gym. What would you do when you're there? Would it be coaching? Would it be marketing? Would it be the sales? I love coaching on-ramps. I'll admit it. I love the beginners. I love seeing rapid progress and quick change and showing them what's possible and giving them hope for changing their life. I love that. What would you focus on when you're at the gym? Make a list. Next, in your perfect world, how much money are you taking home? I know you're not greedy. I know you didn't get in this for money, but I don't want you to be worried about money for the rest of your life or where the next meal is coming from or how you're going to pay the landlord next month. I want you to be making enough money that you're not thinking about it, right? People who make enough money generally don't think about money. People who aren't making enough money only think about money, only talk about money. They ruminate on money. They fight about money because they're not making enough. I don't want that to be you. And finally, what are you doing when you're not working? Okay. You can map all this out. And once you've got that mapped out and defined, we can build the steps to get there. It's possible for a gym owner. You know, your buddy that's working down in trading stocks, they don't get to do this. Their perfect day is 40 years from now, 30 years from now, when they can stop doing their job. We get to bake our job into our perfect day. It's part of it. We can integrate our lifestyle. We get to start enjoying our life right now, unless our business is ruining our lives, which is what this is all about. Now, the third stage of mentorship, I said, was growth phase. It's highly personalized. By now, you've been measuring some metrics. You know how much you're working, you know your effective hourly rate, you know your net owner benefit. You also know what your goals are. The next step is working with a mentor to reverse engineer the steps to get from where you are to where you want to go. And we call this the growth stage. It's very personalized. It's unique for every person. When there's 1,000 gyms in Two Brain, every one of those gyms is working on a slightly different path, but they're using the same tools, maybe at different times or in different amounts, because the plan is based on your personal goals. And that means the outcome is going to be different for everybody. So let me show you what I mean. Here's some examples from our program. You know, here's this guy, he bought his dream car. It's a pretty cool car. Next, you know, vacations. A lot of people who come into our program, they've been grinding for 5 years already. They are ready for some time off. And here they are talking about their dream vacation by themselves, with their spouse, with their kids, whatever that is. Amazing. I love it. Somebody who went from not having a job, you know, to earning 100K net owner benefit. You know, even if you're single, you don't have a family yet, you don't have a home. Think about starting a family, starting a home with the finances already secure, and you don't have to worry about that. Or think about how you've been grinding for the last 5 years and your family's been sacrificing, going without, you know, waiting to take a vacation, waiting to buy the new jeans for the first day of school, you know, waiting to join the basketball team until dad, mom is making more. That's what this is all about, is you taking care of your family, taking care of yourself, and then taking care of your staff, all while taking care of your clients and getting the best possible results. You know, people buying their first houses in Two Brain. This makes me so proud. Like, just knowing that this can happen. 10, 15 years ago, when I said, how am I ever going to be able to put my kids through college, buy them the designer jeans or whatever hoodie they want? How am I ever going to do that? Let alone retire, let alone pay off my house early, let alone build wealth that I can pass on to my kids, let alone take care of my parents when they're too old and decrepit to do it themselves, let alone what happens if I get sick. There were no answers for that, no predictable answers. I had no role models in the industry. And that's when I said, I got to figure out the path for myself. And after I'd figured it out for myself, that's when I said, I got to show this to other people. Because once you know that this is possible, you have hope. And once you have hope, you stay in the industry. And once you stay in the industry, you help your community. And when you help your community, you help the world get healthier and fitter. But it all comes down to you. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to do this for you. Doctors aren't going to do it. The drug companies aren't going to do it. The government's not going to do it. The bureaucracy is not going to do it. It's up to you. It's up to me. And that's why I want to make sure that you're successful so that you can stay in the game long enough to have that kind of impact. You know, people are buying a building. I talked about building wealth. Look at these people. They're standing in front of the buildings that they own. They made an income from their gym. They invested that income into buying a building. And now they make an income from the building and from the gym. They could retire now if they want to, or at least they've taken the first steps. And that income, you know, buys them other stuff. They keep reinvesting and they actually build wealth. Now I know, look, again, you didn't get into this to be wealthy. You got into this to help people. But the wealthier you are, the more you can expand your impact and actually help people. The more you can expand your impact and help more people, the better we are at changing the world. And building wealth is a part of that. Look, let me put this to you straight. There is nobody in the world who deserves to be wealthy more than a gym owner. You have sacrificed, you have taken risk, you are grinding, you're working hard, you're smart, you're trying your best, you're changing people's lives. Who deserves to be wealthy more than you? There's nobody out there that deserves this more than you. It's hard to accept it, but the reality is that you have to know that your future is secure before you can be comfortable in your present. All right, so here's what to do next. Book a free strategy call with us, okay? Click on this QR code. talk to my team about what's next for you. Talk about your next best step. Talk about where you are now. A lot of people cry on these calls, but even if things are going really well for you, hey, that's okay. Tell us. Because the reality is, if your gym is doing amazing already, you're already blowing these numbers out of the water, then fixing any one thing, any one of these metrics has a dramatic and profound impact. If you're not hitting any of these metrics, your gym feels like a gong show now, like it's chaos, then you got to fix all these things. But we're going to do it one at a time. We're going to do it step by step. We're going to make it as easy as possible, and we're going to do it together. That's what mentorship is. Okay. We'll do a deep dive into your business when you book a call, and we'll work out a plan to help you get to 100K NOB. You started this gym to change lives, including your own life. You don't have to grind for 50 plus hours a week. You just need to get the right strategy and the right mentorship. So let's build your 100K net owner benefit plan together. Book your free strategy call today. And if you're already exceeding these metrics, hey, good for you. Let's get on a call and talk about the next steps, because there's always another level. Scan this QR code right now to book a call and get on the path to the income you deserve.